It takes a special kind of man to drive a stock car racing automobile. This special breed must have many things in abundance: courage, strength and endurance, fabulously fast reflexes, and an even faster brain. Most stock car racing drivers possess these qualities, or they would never last one lap around today's high-speed tracks. So what is it that vaults one driver into a consistent champion in this sometimes violent world of rubber-tired rockets? A man whose name is never misspelled by the headline writers, while another driver with the same surface qualifications seems destined to always finish far down in the tiny type reserved for also-rans. This is an intimate look.
What happens? It gets a complete going on. It's a brand new car when it leaves back out of the shop.
With a string of successive victories on the short tracks, and already one of the season's biggest money winners, Johnson is tabbed as the man to beat when the NASCAR Tour pulls into Charlotte's long 1.5-mile track for the World 600 race. Johnson and Nab arrive early in the week to begin honing all the bugs out of a new mount, seeking the right combination of engine performance and handling to fit Junior's driving. But this is one of those times when they can't quite bring the car and the man together. Two engines blow up under Johnson's unmerciful assault on the long, high-banked Charlotte track during time trials. With the third engine installed, he can do no better than 9th in qualifying for Sunday's big race. About 5 hours of the hardest driving on the face of the earth confront the 44 ace drivers who make up the final field, all looking for the winner's purse of better than $25,000. And sitting far back in the pack in 9th place is not Junior Johnson's idea of how to enjoy the start of a race. His plan, as always, is to slam his throttle foot flat on the floorboards, look for a few feet of daylight ahead, and eat up everything through first place. But running wide open is not the only factor facing Johnson in gaining on the star-studded World 600 field. He's up against the best, not only in drivers, but in carefully prepared racing automobiles, and threading his way from 9th to the front against today's competition is going to be tough. Some of the drivers with an eye toward endurance more than speed have settled back to a steady engine-saving pace, and still others are resorting to that old racing trick of drafting. But Junior Johnson isn't built to cruise if he can charge, and with his car running better as the race progresses, he begins to challenge for the lead. There's no such thing anymore of getting Johnson to slack off, even when he's far ahead of the field, and a few less RPMs would reduce chances of engine trouble and help assure a checkered flag finish. Once he thought he had the Southern 500 at Darlington safely in the bag, took the advice of his pit crew to slow down, and found at race's end that the scorer said Larry Frank had won. Since that time, Johnson admits that he goes on the racetrack with his mind made up to run flat out all the way. Flat out, that's a racing term made famous by this chicken farmer. That means the car is being driven to its absolute limit. One more RPM and it starts raining pistons. The World 600 is rough on tires, and Junior and the other drivers must keep a sharp eye on the rubber they're riding. The pit crews pride themselves on the speed with which they can change all four wheels and have their man back on the track. For almost half of the World 600, Johnson has either led or pressed for the lead, but then the bugaboo that has plagued him all week strikes again. His engine blows, spraying oil over the track and throwing his crippled mount into the guardrail. So he wheels off the track and heads into the infield garage area as a sad Herb Nebb sees a week of intense work reduced to complete failure.
Racing can sure be heartbreaking. You just spend days and nights working hard as you can. The crew does the same. The driver plans, gets in real good shape for a race, and sometimes he only runs 10, 15 laps and he's out of business. Sometimes a car falls out of the race, no matter how good the mechanic is or how good the driver is. It's just a lot of luck into it, and everything's got to go real good for them. It's just one of them things. It's nobody's fault or nothing that nobody can do to help it or make it any better.